Okay, so today you are going to get started on choosing a third development that you want to look at. So you can see here that some of the things that you can look at are on page 30 to 35, such as tanks or machine guns or radio, things like that, communication developments. And you're going to use the same questions that we used to look at War in the Air. So some of them are these, but this is just an idea of the things that we're going to be looking at. Here's your task. You're going to select the most important development after you've done your research on a third. So you're going to do War in the Air, War at Sea, or the third one that you choose. And then based on that, you're going to find an artifact, which can include a picture, a quote, a drawing, and you're going to write an exhibit label that's going to go along with it in something that would appear in the Museum of Developments. So you are going to need to have 3 labels for your selected artifacts. You're going to copy and paste your artifact into a Word document or a Google Doc, and you're going to do an identification label, an interpretive label that focuses on why it's significant, and an interpretive label that focuses on applying the criteria, which are these guys. So based on this, you're going to need to start by doing some planning. So after you've researched your third object, based on your research and your notes, you have to pick one, and you're going to write it here. Then you're going to look for an artifact that shows the development, and you're going to have to, the picture should highlight the importance or significance to World War I. So if you're choosing something like a radio, it should be from World War I. Okay, so it shouldn't be a modern day radio. Same thing if you choose airplanes or subs or dreadnoughts, whatever, they need to be from World War I. So the first step is that you have to do an exhibit label. So this is something that's going to go along with the object or group of objects that you've gotten, your artifacts. And the purpose of this whole thing is that it's going to go in the World War I Developments Museum, right? So this thing is going to tell visitors about the object. So it's what do we want them to know. So how, in this case, how your development meets the criteria. So loss of it has to do with life, then talk about that kind of thing. Then there are 2 types of labels. There's identification labels, which you're going to do, which is the name, place, date, all of those things, right? And these are written in point form. And then the next type of label is an interpretive label, and we're going to write 2 of those. And this tells a deeper understanding of the object, and it's in full sentences, right? So these 2 are going to be a little bit. Now if we're going to look at criteria for what makes an effective label, right? So we want to make sure that it answers the questions about what they see. So we don't want people to have any questions about what it is that your object or artifact is. It should answer other questions that you have about the artifact, because remember it's a museum, so people are going there to be educated. It has to be relevant, so we're looking at these artifacts in relation to World War I. Not too much information. You don't want somebody to be standing there for an hour reading your information on an artifact. So it has to be concise and quick to read, easy to read. You know, make sure it's proofread. It has to be in people-friendly words. You know, so you, your, so make the object relate to the people. Easy to understand words. We don't want anyone to have to feel like they have to get out their dictionary. And it's vivid. You should somehow bring your artifact to life. So before submitting your research, your organizer, as well as your 3 exhibit labels, you need to make sure that it shows that you have knowledge of the new development with relation to World War I. You have to be able to think by forming conclusions about why this had such a huge impact, which means applying the criteria. And you have to basically meet all of the ideas, the success criteria for what makes an effective label. And the planning process is your sheet as well as the research sheet on your third object. So you guys are ready to get started. Feel free to use your textbook or the internet. Just make sure you stay focused on World War I. You're going to pick a third object, research it, then you're going to choose the one object that is most significant based on your ranking scale, and you're going to write 3 exhibit labels after you find an artifact. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.